welcome to Warhammer Workshop Preview Review. My name is Amy, and today we're going to be looking at the LVO preview from the other night. But I can't do this alone. I need some wild speculation, and for that, I'm going to need JF. JF, hello.
Hi. I aim to disappoint.
I will admit, there's not a ton of speculation maybe in this one, but...
There is a lot of speculation that could be made for certain things. I just am not qualified for it.
Okay.
So.
Okay. But we're going to do it anyway. It's never stopped us before.
No.
So we did have the LVO preview the other night. It was 1 a.m. our time on a school night, which was, I'm a grown-up and did not stay up to watch it.
I usually do.
Yeah.
I've stayed up or woken up at absolutely insane hours to watch these things, but I could not do it this time.
I did watch it over my coffee the next morning.
Yeah, same-ish. I watched it on my lunch break next day, and that was fine. It's winter. It's a lot harder
it's very dark all of the time.
Very dark. I've changed my personal schedule, so I go to the gym at 6:30 in the morning. I don't have the energy, so and I figured, we're not gonna be able to record that for a day. So,
so for this one, we got Eddie and Alex.
I think so.
I like both of them, but they have a very similar energy. And I feel like as a duo, they're maybe not the strongest, but that's okay.
I still feel that the best balancing act was Adam's very gung-ho, high energy, let's move on, with Eddie's more analytical, calm approach. Eddie's maybe too calm, especially at 1 in the morning.
It was a lot. So we got a little something for just about everything except for the lonely box games that never get any love. So let's dive right in. We're going to start with Warhammer 40,000. And this was sort of I'm going to say it was a surprise. We've got the Strike Force Agastus box.
It's random names.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to make this comparison, but I feel that at this point, anything that's Imperium, to create the name of an Imperium unit or a detachment or anything, it's the same process, the same mental gymnastics as creating a Harry Potter spell. It's just take whatever feels Latin-ish, make sure it ends in us, and there you go. The less it makes sense, the less it's researched, the better. Actually, no. You know what? I'm not giving Games Workshop enough credit. Some of these guys are pretty smart. Yeah. I believe those are some of them sometimes might have a little reference hidden in there, but yeah, that's where we are. So
it looks like what this box is it's kind of like the box of, hey, here's new stuff for your Space Marines, and we've put it all in a box, and please enjoy. We're starting with the Brutalis Dreadnought.
Okay, so because we've the previous iteration, like your standard run-of-the-mill garden variety Dreadnought, had a close combat option, the Furioso.
Yeah.
I assume this already existed somewhere.
Yeah. This bad boy is, as you say, close combat focused. He has twin Icarus, iron hail, heavy stubbers, heavy bolters, and heavy rifles. And he has a choice between fists and claws. He's a fun guy.
Have you ever painted one of those Dreadnought chassis?
No. It's kind of one of those things on my list, but we'll get to it a little later in this preview. But I'm realizing that I don't hate the Imperium. I hate Space Marines, and so I have not managed to paint a Dreadnought yet.
It's interesting because I don't hate Space Marines. Yeah. I'm just bored with Space Marines.
I mean, that's probably a more accurate description.
It's just Space Marines are that television series that is good and you would watch, but you've been told by too many people at work around water cooler about how good it is, and you're done with it. So that's what Space Marines are for me. But I will occasionally paint a model either for myself or for a friend or something. And I've painted one of those dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are super fun to paint and assemble. They've got all these nice flat surfaces, good angles to do some highlights.
Yeah.
So I'm not unhappy this guy exists.
No, absolutely. Alongside him, we have what has been sort of a gap if you are a pure Primaris player. And that's something for your ultra long range, which this is the Desolation Squad. They have a lot of options. They have indirect fire Castellan launchers, your choice of super frag or super crack rocket launchers. And so until now, if you didn't want to do vehicles, your super long range support had to be firstborns. But now we've got a Primaris option. My favorite comment about this, because people have been having a lot of conversation about this, is that the sergeant is carrying their lunch for them, and that is pretty good.
That's good. I do like. A lot of people seem upset. I'm not exactly sure why. I mean,
because
some
they
of them
say the guns are very unrealistic, which I will point out that literally all of it is like. From other than an unfeeling government that cares not for the welfare of its people, everything else is very unrealistic.
Oh no, my genetically engineered super soldier 30,000 years in the future have unrealistic weapons with which to fight aliens and I am not kidding, demons from the nether.
And sentient mushrooms.
Yeah, God forbid they have unrealistic weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that they'll defend the existence of psychers, people with legitimate magic powers.
Yeah, but this gun is too big.
No, I hate how this gun has Johnny Five's face.
It does. Oh no. Oh no, you're correct.
I dare you to unsee it now.
No, it's there forever now.
Okay, they have
big guns. I mean, they're shooting like
They're
36
super
inches
soldiers
or more. So yeah. No, I'm fine with it. I think they look fun.
Yeah, look, as far as I'm concerned, this is an improvement.
Yeah.
I love the lunchbox. This good humor, typical of how we deal with Games Workshop.
Yep.
I don't understand how people are upset about the guns being too big, but they're fine with indirect fire and something called a super crack missile.
Yes.
Like, oh no, this is fine. Like, oh, the fact that you can have apparently a unit of roughly 5 to 10 guys who who can hide in cover, shoot indirectly, and have access to something called a super crack missile. No, this is cool, but the weapons look silly.
Yeah.
Great.
And
my favorite community.
No Space Marine box would be complete without, you guessed it, a Primaris Lieutenant kit.
I'm fine with them.
I mean, this one is actually kind of cool because what they've done is, like, where a lot of the other Primaris Lieutenants have been very specific, right? Like, this is Primaris Lieutenant Paul, and he has these weapon options, and that's it, and have a nice day. This one is their most flexible kit. It has a lot of build options, including some new ones, like a Power Fist. And it also has a few variations in sort of the tabards and iconography so that you can tailor it to your particular chapter.
Which is neat. Mm-hmm. I also saw someone on Twitter, wish I could give him credit, who mentioned that apart from the cybernetic eye, this was a very good stand-in fig for the main dude from the Space Marine video game.
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely.
Because apparently, roughly the same amount of little studs in his head, good facial similarities.
And that guy went through a lot. He could have a cyber eye now.
Listen, maybe this is Space Marine 3's version. I'm not keeping up.
Yeah.
Although I will play Space Marine 2, but.
Yeah. Moving on, in the 40k universe, something a little more...
Wait, you wanted my speculation,
oh my gosh,
and I am
did.
here.
All right. You're right.
So, Games Workshop cannot so much as burp the word preview these days without absolutely everyone saying 10th edition, 10th edition, 10th edition.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're not getting 10th edition according to this LVO preview, which is fine. But it is interesting that they're introducing essentially 2 new units of Space Marine to one of the oldest codexes of this edition without so much as teasing a new codex or a new edition.
Well, they put out 2 codexes last edition.
Yes, no, absolutely. And but that's the thing, like they're not even hinting at a new codex.
No.
So I'm assuming these rules are going to be available online in PDF.
Yeah.
But then that begs the question of, is this the model moving forward? Is this Games Workshop testing the waters as to should it be how they move forward? Because I mean, Space Marines are a flagship army, obviously.
Yes.
So whatever, it feels weird that they would be like the last time they did this, like they put out the weird ATV and the not quite exciting weapon platform and a couple of other things. And very soon after, we had a codex, and there was already like rumors of a codex.
Right.
I'm not getting the same feeling from this. So maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they will. Maybe like that's the next thing, and we're going to see a preview for a codex soon, or maybe the announcement at Adepticon is going to be 10th edition or whatever.
I will riot. The other option is that there are more Space Marine things coming in the not so distant future, and so we're gonna wait till those are announced, and then we'll announce a new version of the codex. It's hard to know.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that we're seeing those new units, because I feel that you can't do that without very closely after telling us how you're going to be handling new rules for new units as such.
True. Speaking of new units, I'll segue as hard as I can. Like, I'll just keep doing it till one sticks.
I'm sorry I kept you from talking about the most exciting thing for you so far.
This was the peak for me. So, it's our first look at how we're going to get our hands on Vashtor the Archifane, and it is in a dual box, Wrath of the Soulforge King. Feel free to mix those words up however you like and create your own story out of it. I'm going to be going with Soul King of the Wrathforge. It's going to be good. In this box, we have Vashtor and a bunch of Chaos Space Marines, specifically a few really good demon engines, against the Dark Angels and Azrael.
Not Gargamel's cat, mind you, but
yes,
the newly across the Rubicon Primaris Dark Angel Space Marine.
Yeah. So I feel like this is I feel like we don't hear a lot from the Dark Angels. Much. I mean,
I was gonna inject my personal opinion saying that's because they're boring, and that's untrue. They're not. They're actually,
they have some pretty interesting models. Yeah.
They have interesting models. They have an interesting history. I literally did. I almost did an army of Dark Angels, and I actually really like them.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm being so harsh on those guys. It's just that compared, the vibe from this, it's so bizarre because Azrael is like one of the most beloved characters in 40K. Like of all the Space Marines, he's, at least for a while, like he was like the sauce. And now that they announced this box set, like no one cares about his new model. There's Vashtor.
Yeah, there is Vashtor. And so this will be the first way that you can get Vashtor. And it's Vashtor, 10 of the new cultists, who are beautiful models, as we've discussed on previous episodes of Warhammer Workshop. 2 Obliterators and a Venom Crawler, which I believe are still only available as a box together. Like getting a Venom Crawler.
They're like mixed. They're a mixed brew, right? Like
they might be.
That's the problem with them.
Yeah. Yeah. That was an interesting design choice.
I hope hope they've learned from this mistake.
I am very excited to get my hands on another Venom Crawler because that will be 3, and that feels like a nice number of them to have. I'm trying to think. I must own Obliterators, but I don't think I've actually built them because they're not necessarily my favorite. But I guess I'm gonna get on board now. So I should have, like,
they're neat.
With this box, I should have a pretty comfortable Demon Engine focused army.
Listen, I still have my Eldritch Omen box with the models within. With this box, I think I'll also have the start of a neat little chaos army.
Yeah. The Dark Angel side comes with Azrael, along with 5 Deathwing Terminators and 10 Space Marine Intercessors, plus 2 Dark Angels Primaris Upgrade Sprues. Which, that's nice. I like Upgrade Sprues an awful lot.
I love Upgrade Sprues. I think upgrade kits and upgrade sprues are I think they're the linchpin to giving Games Workshop the ability to flex some of the models that they have without having to create new kits.
So, Vashtor coming out with your standard issue, quote-unquote standard issue Chaos Space Marines concerns me a little in my quest for the Dark Mechanicum.
If I look into my own crystal ball, judging by what this looks like, my feeling is that at least for now, the Dark Mechanicum are going to remain a sort of sub-faction of Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, but all right, and that will be okay if I can have some real rules for them. I do have...
I think you will.
I do have a bunch of cultists that I converted from a Delac gang and a box of Skitari. So,
that's a good mix.
Yeah, they're real good. Lots of hoods. It's very good. And they are very weird heights. Like, they are vastly different heights, which I do enjoy. So I guess that's probably where I'm headed. So we do have... So we know the first 3 books of the Arcs of Omen. We still don't know what that Ordo Xenos is. I'm sure that is going to be an Adepticon announcement. I'm sure.
Agreed. I'm hoping it's something weird, out there, and new.
Yeah.
I don't mind them being like, oh, it's Ordo Xenos and it's Eldars. I don't care, but I want them to plug in some weirder aliens. Now that, like, if we're delving into all those Space Hulks, I want them to do something absolutely wild with it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of aliens in there. There's a lot of weird life forms. These things travel a lot. Let's see it.
Yeah. There was in conjunction with yesterday's tarot card, there was a lot of chatter about HRUD, and I was trying to reconcile myself with, okay, but what if I didn't get Dark Mechanicum as their own thing, but I did get HRUD? I think I would be okay.
I mean, I hope you would be okay.
Right. I would be okay. Like that, I could reconcile myself with that. I've got my demon engines. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and I mean, like, look, if you get Vashtor, and with Vashtor you can make a list that's mostly Demon Engine and really emphasizes like the Dark Mechanicum aspect of the Chaos Space Marines. It's a good holding pattern until perhaps Dark Mechanicum get their own books. Yeah, that's fine.
It is.
Whether HRUD or not, like I've said it before and I'll say it again, the Arcs of Omen is a absolutely perfect time to introduce a new faction in the 40k universe, because it is we're disturbing these like these massive planetoid-sized spaceships that could hold entire civilizations. So when do you have an event in the 40k universe that actually allows you to say, yes, this faction has always been there, they've always kind of been passive, but now they're active and they're everywhere in the galaxy at once, because that's how Space Hulks work.
Right.
And if Games Workshop does not take that opportunity, I believe that will be a crucial mistake and an absolute waste. which means they're probably gonna do that because they tend to let really cool things slip through their fingers, probably because they're overwhelmed by other cool things that they're doing. So.
Yeah. It'll be okay. I have faith. And I do feel very strongly that we are going to hear about it at Adepticon because I feel like Warhammer Fest is sort of their flagship announcement, right? That's where the real big stuff comes in. Adepticon is number 2, and then LVO is number 3. Is how I feel like that shakes out. So
yeah, that makes sense. Like if new additions will be announced at Warhammer Fest.
Right.
And new games will be announced at Warhammer Fest.
New factions get announced at Adepticon.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be great. So
remind me, like at last Adepticon, did they announce a new faction for Age of Sigmar?
I don't remember. Oh, but that was the preview of Vashtor, wasn't it? Wasn't that our first silhouette? I believe they announced the Arcs of Omen. If memory serves.
They hinted at Arcs of Omen because they
that was
were
like their one
announcing
more
some
thing.
KillTeam. But they did announce, there was the one more thing. No, the one more thing was Chaos Space Marine.
Oh, that's right.
The 40k race that they announced, the faction was League of Votan, I believe.
Oh, right, of course, because it was you're right. It was April Fool's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't keep track. So no, I don't know that they did a new Sigmar one, but I don't remember. It'll be something.
Oh well,
it'll be good.
Yeah.
Moving over to Sigmar's side, however, we have a new Underworlds warband. These are Grizel's Arenae. So this is cool. This is another Daughters of Khaine one, which I keep losing track of which ones we've had for WarCry and which ones we've had for Underworlds, but these are very specifically arena fighters that are fighting for the honor and glory of Khaine. And so they have been gathered together, and they all have their own very specific arena weapons, and they're going to hit hard and be mean, and I'm pretty excited. I like a good aggressive warband.
I agree. I'm not disappointed in this warband. I'm just because I feel that as a variation on the Sisters of Slaughter kit, they don't vary that much.
No.
They're very like I expected maybe a little bit more personality out of something like that.
Yeah, they are a little more. Honestly, you're right. They are a little more somehow subdued than a lot of the recent warbands have been.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. I'm for it.
No, I mean it's fine. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm not disappointed. I'm just not as like I wish I could say that I can see where there was possibility for more, but at the same time, the Sister of Slaughters already kind of go hard.
Yeah.
Like they're already jumping all over the place. They're already some of the most dynamic, miniatures in the range. So this is fine.
They have a lot of cards that allow them to get in and out of combat quickly. A lot of leaping, a lot of acrobatics. They have a really high, because they are acrobatic, they have a lot of dodge. And so even though they are not the most, the heftiest of fighters, they can mitigate an awful lot of damage with a fairly average roll. So that's good. That's handy. That'll be fun. I like a nice. It seems like kind of a finesse one to play, which is good. I like a little challenge sometimes.
Finesse is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I find successfully playing a finesse army a lot more rewarding than playing a brute force one.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna have beer and pretzels around the gaming table, brute force is probably
brute force works.
more where I go.
Go forward, roll dice. Excellent.
So recently, I've been playing a little bit of Warhammer 40k Tacticus on my phone, which it's one of those free to play, buy some loot boxes type things. Except it's 40k, and it's hex based, and you get little war bands of about like 3 to 5 models, I guess you could say, or characters. And it's really like looking at these previews for Underworld. It's reignited my desire to have a hex-based Underworld type Warhammer 40K game. A lot.
That would be cool. Yeah. Even if it was like a reskin, I feel like that would be okay.
I'd be absolutely fine with it. Like, and they definitely could learn from the mistakes that they've made in for Underworlds and just hit the ground running with that one.
Yeah. Also on Sigmar's side, this is a pretty big one. It is the first round of things that we're seeing for the Seraphon.
Ah, yeah.
Well,
Lizardmen was my first big complete. I can actually play this at a tournament army for Warhammer Fantasy.
Oh, nice. That's excellent. I love them. This is an army that I have been trying very hard to avoid, and then they keep putting more in there, and that's fine. The day we do get into Sigmar, I'll be in trouble because I will immediately wind up with like 5 armies, and I already have like 2.5. It's fine.
I've got the equivalent of maybe 3 on sprues, but I've got one in particular that's like my hobby New Year reward.
Yes.
That I'm going to quote unquote speed paint my Squigalange. That should sate my appetite and give me a really good starting point to learn the game.
Yeah. We're starting here with the Slan Starmaster, which I keep reading as Stairmaster every time I look at it, but they are very obviously not that. No.
Yes.
No.
Does he look like he uses a Stairmaster?
My first thought when they previewed this model was I absolutely love this model, and my second thought when I saw this model was I do not want to have to transport this model. Now, that said, they've done a really good job with that sort of thing on all of their other models, and they put surprising connection points that you wouldn't really think about. But he looks precarious. I'm sure he's fine.
He looks precarious the same way a Tyranid Tyrannocyte looks precarious.
Yeah.
And the Tyranid Tyrannocyte does not break off its base easily.
Yeah.
But it does not make it any less of a pain to transport because it has all these tendrils all over the place. A little bit the same way this dude's throne has a bunch of horns sticking out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it will be a pain to transport, I'm sure. But I think it's also probably going to be smaller than the Tyrannocyte.
Yeah. He's lovely. I love the Seraphon because it's like, yeah, we're lizard folk, but also ancient technology. Don't forget, we rode spaceships. So that's cool. He has, as is always important to us, a lot of little buddies.
Yes.
Of various
little
flavors.
menagerie.
Yeah. Lots of frogs and snakes, and there's like a winged snake thing.
There's one in particular. There's a little frog that's like on this platform, and his existence gives me life.
Perfect.
I would die for him.
I
would also kill for him. So
no.
Keep your jokes to yourselves. No, I like this model. Like I had a Slan on in that army I told you about. They were metal.
Yeah.
You could murder someone with that model.
Yes.
Because it was a chunk with spiky bits. Very easy, very convenient to throw and just brain someone with. This looks a lot safer.
Yeah. We also got my personal favorite. We've got the Raptidon Hunters.
Yes.
We also got the Chargers, which we'll get to in a second. But these are the Hunters, and they are the Javelin guys riding their little Raptidons. And they are so good. Their stupid faces bring me joy. I mean, look at them.
I love them. I love the face of the Raptidons. They look stupid. They're great. Like clearly they have very like walnut-sized brains.
Oh yeah.
The skinks, I think it's a little bit the way they're painted look a little bizarre.
Okay.
But like if you close like if you take a really close up shot like and look at how their noses are made, they look a little weird. But I think that's how they're painted not more than how they're sculpted.
Yeah. Because some of them look, I think. Okay, I think there's a weird shadow that they're painting on some of them.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But these do come in two flavors. These guys right here are the Raptidon Chargers, who have their sort of flails, which also have that ancient old one tech. So it hits harder than you think it's going to, because it's like
It already looks
power
like it
maul.
would hit hard.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, imagine the speed at which this thing's probably running. Looks like it runs pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then, little skinks, swings that thing and hits you in the face.
It's not going to feel good.
No, it's not going to be great.
No.
I would probably go for that little close combat option just because it looks pretty badass.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And along... oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, the lizard men, like, what really got me into the lizard men was skinks in the first place. I had 40 skinks, and the fact that we're at a point where you can easily make a skink only army.
Yeah.
Before it used to be that this was like they had a special list called the Southlands Army that you could do that was skinks only. But you couldn't take a slan with it, and they did have their own special character, which, oh, look at that, rode a creature very similar to a Raptidon that was modeled more on a Jurassic Park raptor, but it feels like you could get a conversion in for, or maybe we even will get that character in later on.
Yeah, because this is only the first bit. We have a little more to go, but this is only the first bit. There are more to come that are coming with this new Battletome.
Yeah. So I'm not excited at all. Like, especially considering all the cool dinosaurs are all with skinks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We also got, if you are not someone who wants exclusively skinks, we've got new Horus Warriors. These guys are cool. As they keep saying, like, the spawning pool has been very active. Yes, great. I've always
not
liked their
active
shields.
enough, because the spawning pool should be giving us some new Tyranids, but
yeah,
we're not talking about 40k anymore, so
no, it's okay. I think these guys are pretty cool. But I mean, you're giving me lizard people. I'm in. I'm kind of in.
And these guys are cool because they don't, like, you could have a unit of those mixed in with a unit of the previous ones.
Mm-hmm.
They would mix fairly well. Like, the previous ones were a little more static.
Yeah.
But, like, the look hasn't changed so much. The only thing that I find... Like, I like the new shields. Don't get me wrong. They're neat. But the old turtle shell shields that they had were kind of cool, too. And they were fun to paint because you could really get into those edges and give them some cool gradients.
Yeah. They're really leaning into that old one's tech, I feel like.
Which is fine.
Yeah. As they pointed out, that these are basically coalesced, right, from the will of the Slan. So they can be sort of starborn and magical, or you can be just like a lizard. And that's kind of fun. I really like that glowy, spirity nonsense.
He does. I mean, yes, but at the same time, he looks like he's about to spit into one of Ghidorah's faces.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got a bit of a nuclear Godzilla thing going on.
He does. I'm not gonna refute that. So with this, we have got an updated Battletome roadmap, except that the update is that they've added Seraphon onto the end of the list. We still don't know what those 5 are in the middle, which is wild. That's a lot. 5 Battletomes?
It is. But not every army in Age of Sigmar is getting like a huge rework.
No, certainly not. Usually I feel like they get, like, sometimes they'll get, well, like this week, right? We've got the Gloomspite Gits and the Beasts of Chaos, and they got like a thing and a new mixed box. And so that's not a ton. but
Mhm.
5 is still a lot. In
I
3
mean, I don't
months?
disagree. I'm sure people that are more into Age of Sigmar than you and I are probably have a very good idea, or at least have the footing to do the kind of speculation that we can't do for this.
Yeah.
Especially since they sort of tell us like which one are order, which one are chaos or destruction.
Yeah.
But no, I'm on board that is a lot, but I feel like Age of Sigmar still kind of is playing catch up.
Yeah, that could be. So it is 1 order, 2 chaos, and 2 death. That's how this is gonna shake out. So it's interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, especially since Def, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Def doesn't have that many faction in it, does it?
No, not really.
Like Night Haunts, you've got whatever vampire people.
The Soul Blights. Soul Blight,
Yeah.
which is a pretty overarching army. Because
Yeah,
it's vampires, werewolves, and skeletons. To
Yeah,
your spooky
and
Halloween
you've
haunted
got
house.
Ossiarch,
Bone Reapers.
people,
Yeah.
bones.
Speaking
So
of
yeah,
vampires.
listen, if you are an Age of Sigmar aficionado and you are listening to this and you have speculation or ideas of what these 5 Battletomes are going to be, I've mentioned before 2023 is the year I'm getting into Age of Sigmar a little bit more. So I'd be curious what you guys think these are. Leave something in the comments to let us know what your predictions are.
Yes. We have more vampires, though, because we have a new WarCry box. It's Blood Hunt. We are still hanging out in Gur. I think
Gur.
this is the 4th one.
It's at least the 3rd one.
It is either the 3rd or 4th, so we are getting close to the end of this particular season. And this is the first one in a while where I look at both warbands and I go, yes, these are both excellent, because there's no like, oops, all humans won.
And they're both cool and ridiculous kind of at the same time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like the vampires are just plain cool. Like they're neat.
They are neat. So these are the Askargan True Blades. And what's cool is that they are an order of warrior monks who fight their hunger. And the way that they sate their thirst is by hunting great beasts.
That is cool.
Isn't that cool? So they gorge themselves on primal energies and attempt not to succumb to their bestial tendencies. Now, obviously,
they're
there's
quote
one...
unquote the good vampires.
They're the good vampires. I love these. And I mean, they will fit in to your Soul Blight army, should you so choose. The like kind of bat one is wild. I assume that's what it is. It's kind of that bat face. I don't know, but it's scary, and I do really like
bat
it.
or wolf bat.
Yeah, they've had a time, and I'm here for it. It's very good.
I do enjoy that at least a few of them went to discount Shoulder World.
Yes.
And really they spent their entire allowance. 'Cause those shoulder pads are what most armies would call breastplates.
Yeah, those are some World of Warcraft shoulder pads.
Yes.
It's
Paint
fine.
them glowy.
Yeah, it's good. The other side of this are the Claws of Karanak. Karanak, as you may know, is the 3-headed Fleshhound of renown, and these guys worship him. And we've had this discussion when playing games like Darktide, and it's that when it's the middle bit of receiving the gifts of chaos that is really pretty terrible. And one of
Yes.
these guys is deep in that. Because maybe, like, is he going to become a Fleshhound? Maybe. Or maybe that's just his life now, and this is where we're at.
I feel like if he is turning into a Fleshhound, that was the goal the whole time.
Oh, yeah. But right now, it's not great.
Yeah, right now it's that part where cosplay wasn't enough and you're starting to get surgery.
Yeah. It's a lot. And this comes with another set of Gnarlwood terrain. This time they're sort of fortifications, but in the Gnarlwood you don't get fortifications that stay around very long. but you can slap some bamboo together and have yourself a little place to hang out for a week or whatever. Quick little camping trip with the fam, whatever it takes. Yeah.
That is the one thing I like about WarCry is that it really allows the developers to get creative and look at some of the aspects of what the lore can offer. Like the idea of these guys are not worshiping corn. They're not worshiping even a demon lord. They're worshiping a character. And it makes sense. It makes sense that some of the lesser mortals or just the basic mortal tribes of these realms would see even the lesser heroes of these factions and think of them as worthy of worship.
Right, because they don't know about the greater workings of the universe. They're not privy to the great game. They don't know.
No, listen, these guys are they're probably born on Gur, generations of their families born on Gur. They're probably not necessarily aware that there's even other realms.
Right.
They've seen Karanak or they've heard the legends of Karanak just tearing through armies and they went, I'm a worship that dog.
Yeah, that is one good boy. Let's go. It's very good.
And it's the same thing for those vampire monks. The idea that they're like branching out from the idea of this is just von Karstein. He is the most stereotypical vampire out there, and he commands stereotypical vampiric armies. Let's go. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But expanding on that, making it more exciting is, I feel that that's what these little games are for.
It is. It's the little sub factions that you could maybe put in an army, but you're never going to have a full army's worth. And so you can do this, and if you want to have your big mixed up army of all these weird guys, go for it.
Does that bring us safely to KillTeam?
Not yet. We have one quick stop on the way.
I thought I had.
You did. It was
good
really
segue.
good. It was really good. Well, we could almost skip it if you really wanted to, but no.
We can't. We can't skip it. It's too big.
It's too big because it's the Cerberus Heavy Tank Destroyer. Jeff, do you have any idea what the Cerberus Heavy Tank Destroyer is for?
It's to Cerber. Is it to destroy tanks?
It's not Cerber you. It's Cerberus.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It sure is to destroy tanks and / or titans.
What a coincidence. And it's got 3 big guns.
It does
like
have
a 3-headed dog.
Yeah. Oh.
You know what? If I had kept track of our roadmap, I could have done such a better
from one
segue.
Cerberus to another. Yeah.
Yes. I'm so disappointed.
So close.
Dear listeners, I am sorry.
We were so close to greatness.
This is why we're not in the big leagues.
No. So yeah, it's the anti-tank tank. Punches through armor. They did say it is going to get rules for 40K.
It will.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to.
Yeah.
I remember facing a bunch of those when they were hyper meta at Adepticon.
That sounds like fun. That's always fun.
Oh, no, it was terrible. It was terrible because this was an armor 14 all around because that was back when armor. And almost impossible to destroy, and it could reliably just shoot a unit and destroy it.
Yep.
And yeah, sure, of course, it's a tank and Titan destroyers, but we didn't have Titans back then. There was no knights.
Yeah.
So it would just shoot all your vehicles reliably.
Yeah.
And be almost indestructible to most infantry. It's great. It was great. It was fun.
So it's built off of the Spartan chassis, and it has a range of sponson and pintle weapons, including flamers, in case that you got to deal with some close combat, infantry bothering you, and las cannons should you really just want to punch through armor.
I do like putting, as I'm building up my Horus Heresy army, I am putting as many flamers as I can because I'm doing Death Guard and I'm upgrading everything to those toxic flamers that they have.
Ooh.
I'm not going to win my games, but I'm going to be thematically accurate.
I like that. No, it's good. That's how we play.
Yeah. Is a cool model.
Mm-hmm.
If you like building some of these Spartan type land raiders, that chassis.
I did like
It's
that
neat.
during the preview they talked about how the resin version was not the friendliest to build, which is great.
No, and considering that a lot of those that I faced were recast
Oh
from
boy.
third party pirates, I will say,
Sure.
the polite term, those were probably even worse. I remember I bought off someone an Arvis slider that I thought was original Forge World, and it came to me and it was clearly not.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm not buying secondhand
Yeah.
resin anymore is because recasts are horrible.
Real bad.
If you're paying any sort of money for a recast, you're probably being taken to the river.
Yeah.
Unless you're really lucky, which I wasn't.
Yeah. Speaking of pirates, not a good. Is that not an okay?
Yeah, let's go. Let's
all
go.
right,
Let's
so
do it.
Speaking of pirates, we have the next Kill Team box. This is number 3. I know that.
Yes,
in the
that is number
GallowDark
3.
series, it's Soul Shackle.
Just random words.
Love it. So, as was speculated when they previewed the very good dog, we do have the Imperium's very own not-so-secret police force, the Adeptus Arbites.
Yes.
This is their
Whoop,
extraction
whoop,
squad.
That's the sound of the police.
Yeah. This is the extraction squad. So these are the guys that come and get you and bring you alive, asterisk, there are a lot of definitions for alive, to bring you back to the Inquisition, who I'm sure will treat you very fairly and with a lot of respect.
Yes. They'll give you some coffee, ask you a few questions, and send you on your way.
So basically the story behind how these fellows wound up on the GallowDark is that they had, they had word that there was a fugitive hiding out. And so they have shown up to break down doors and generally cause a ruckus. And they do not care which side you are on. You are either in their way or you are dead. Those are the two options.
Their one redeeming quality is that they have a good boy.
They do have a good boy.
That being said, they are cool models.
They're very cool. I did not expect to like them as models.
Their appearance sits kind of between Space Marines and Sisters of Battle, so you really get the architecture of the design, like the fashion designers who create all of the 40K universe on the Imperium side. Like, they stayed true to their mission statement.
Mm-hmm.
I think they all look pretty dope. I like their weapons, very Imperial weapons, but like with a bit of a cool kind of clean twist to them.
Yeah.
The only dude I don't like is yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say this guy with the Vox thing is
yeah,
he's got a lot happening.
He's a bit much.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, Steve, like, calm down. You can leave some things at the armory.
No, he needs it all. You never know. Be prepared.
Yeah, I think the way I described it to you was that he just brought all of his cosplay equipment.
Yeah. It's good. That speaker, like the bottom half of his little Vox thing, was one of the relatively recent rumor engines that you and I sort of had bandied about, and we had I had at least speculated it to be Necromunda, which I'm not that off. They are unique characters, so I wasn't that far off. But
Necromunda and KillTeam tend to flirt together as far as the design philosophy behind the fig, the individual figs, like, because they're roughly the same amount of models per warband.
True.
I think if I were to do this guy, if I were to paint this unit, I would probably cut the eagles off of this guy by a good 25 to 30%.
Yeah, but I mean, like they said, like these are the full kits. You can do the oops all special guys, or you can build them all as sort of standard fighters. So you can. I'm sure that there are less ostentatious headwear options for him.
Oh no, I mean, in removing that particular piece of his headwear shouldn't be too difficult. The eagle on the Vox thing I can probably replace with another piece and use
Sure.
that eagle somewhere else, like I don't know, Adeptus Custodes,
Oh,
because it does
yeah.
look like the Adeptus Custodes would take him into custody and just say, "You stole our stuff."
You're right. Now,
That's what he's cosplaying as.
oh, there you go. He is so super for the Emperor. I feel like he's like
Yes.
doth protest too much, baby. He's like,
Yeah,
I
a
am
little bit.
I am all about the Emperor.
Yeah, I'm
No
not a
chaos
traitor.
here.
Yeah, look at all those eagles. Would someone with that many eagles be against the Emperor?
Exactly.
Look at the size of this eagle.
Now, we can't just have one faction in a kill team box now, can we? Of course not.
I mean, there is a time when Games Workshop would just have put two
Yeah, they would have.
units of Space Marines, and that would have been it. But
Yeah, they would have been
we've
slightly
changed.
different flavors.
We've moved on from there.
We have. So we've got some Kabalite Warriors with a packed upgrade sprue for a whole bunch of specialists, including the Sybarite, the Crimson Duelist, and even a Sky Splinter Assassin. And when you go ahead and put Assassin in a character name, I'm already on board.
And I just want to point out, you said those magic words again.
Did I?
Upgrade sprue.
I did say upgrade sprue.
I like how we're seeing upgrade sprue mentioned
We
so
don't
many
have to
times.
reinvent the wheel.
No.
Especially, I mean, it's so much easier to do with digital sculpting, right?
Yeah,
Because
no,
back in the day, that would have been a much trickier proposition. But now, it's, there's a lot better tools for doing that sort of behavior.
Yeah, because I can imagine like you're a sculptor and suddenly your supervisor shows up with an old metal fig and says, "Yeah, make different arms for this."
Yeah,
Like,
what?
it's like, I can, but also you're not getting anything at the gift exchange.
Yeah. So there's some good special guys here. We've got the guy with his little raven there, which is fun.
Is it a raven? Is it a buzzard? Is it a buzzard raven?
Yeah, I mean, they said raven on the preview, but I don't know that I buy that. I saw someone that said that Kabalite Warriors would teach this parrot to be very snarky, which I didn't disagree with. And then I assume that's the assassin with the little Dune still suit rebreather and the gun that shoots poison.
It feels like it should be, but I don't know why his name is Sky Slasher Assassin.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless that's the one
Like-
with the big long gun. Who knows? It's unknowable. We'll find out. I'm sure we will
Yeah.
talk about it extensively on the show.
Oh yeah. When they come out, like I'll probably do an unboxing when this comes out because
Awesome.
I like doing that. I've had to slack off because of some scheduling issues with the holidays and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like being able to do a GallowDark unboxing because I can skip a lot about talking about the scenery
Mm-hmm.
and just concentrate on the new sprues that they give us.
Speaking of the scenery,
I did it.
you did it.
I did a segue.
So fun new things in this one. So as we mentioned, like as we had hoped / assumed, this will fit
You
together with.
hoped
I
a lot.
desperately hoped. This will fit together with the other GallowDark scenery so that you can use it to play your Arcs of Omen games. Fantastic. So this has a couple of new things. It has breachable walls. Okay. Breachable
we need
walls.
To talk about breachable walls.
I want to talk about breachable walls because I am psyched about these breachable. Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb how excited I am about these breachable walls.
It's because the breachable walls in and of themselves are, hi, they're the walls that can be breached. That's what breachable walls means.
Mm-hmm.
But also, they beg the question. They demand, how do you breach them?
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of the answers are pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Explosives.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the other answers are pretty exciting. Monsters.
Yeah.
Or just really strong things.
Yeah. I kind of want to put some, like, hanging wires coming out of the edges of the breached part. Just for a little...
I wonder how much that will annoy the removal of the breached part.
No, I think it's a separate piece. I think you swapped the wall piece out.
It is not.
It's not? Because that was what they said. I thought
It is, because here's the thing.
I
Like,
don't know.
if
Maybe
you
it's not.
zoom
No, you're
in,
right.
if you
that
zoom in,
middle
you can see
piece.
where the cracks are.
Oh. Oh. This is going to take some investigation. I'm very excited about this, though.
Oh no, I mean yes, moi too. But yeah, no, it's it's interesting because, like I said, like what does that mean? Like, obviously, we're probably going to get some rules specifically for 40K, well, for Kill Team on how that works. But are we also going to be getting some rules for Arcs of Omen on how those work?
I would assume so. I'm going to say yes.
Because that's one of the things. For Arcs of Omen, we are looking at possibly an escalation. Like, it's the first book basically is these are 500 points boarding action missions.
Yes.
And we're probably going to look at a certain escalation, especially since one of the army boxes for Arcs of Omen has a flyer in it.
Yes.
And one of my original speculation was that the Arcs of Omen are Space Hulks. They have large pieces, and it would be neat to have rules for some of these walls to get destroyed by, say, a Carnifex. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying that now it is something that can happen.
So now I'm doing a terrible thing in which I am trying to look something up while we're doing this, which is maybe not my best move. But
Well,
so
let me talk about some of the extra scenery you get while you're looking.
Well,
up
no.
this
So
thing.
this is part of what I was wondering, right? So okay. The extra scenery that we do get is we get a hollow table with a map of the GallowDark that you are currently standing in a very mall in the 80s you are here way, which I find fun.
Yes.
And then we get a couple of these console control panel tables, which as people who've been playing a lot of Dark Tide lately, I'm going to put my little servo skull on it, and sooner or later Hadron is going to yell at me that I have to go fix it, and it's great.
It is very cool. Lots of dials to paint.
Lots of dials to paint. So interestingly, the box for the terrain that they have released for the boarding actions games is hard to find on the website. Because what I was wondering is, are they going to take Kill Team boxes 1 and 2 and put out a terrain box? And maybe once we get, for the last Arcs of Omen book, are we going to get boxes 3 and 4 put together in a terrain box with more interesting features? I
don't think that would be the best way to go. I think what they could have is a box that just has all the extra sprues.
The extra stuff. That's a better point.
Listen, as someone who is currently in the process of painting 2 Kill Team boxes worth of GallowDark terrain, I'm not doing that again.
That's fair.
Because that is a lot of walls, and I mean, they're cool. Like I've mentioned, probably one of the best kits Games Workshop has ever put out for its versatility, the amount of detail, what you can do with it. Even if you're just a pro painter doing dioramas, you buy one of these boxes and you can do some 40K dioramas until the lictors come home. But I'm not doing 2.
So I did find it finally, and judging by the sprues that are shown on the website, it's actually none of the special stuff. It's just the straight terrain.
And if you look at the missions from the Arc of Omen Abaddon book, they use none of the special stuff either.
Yeah. For now.
Another piece that is not mentioned, they talk about the breachable walls, they talk about the consoles and the holographic thing, but one of the things that, if you look at the ensemble, there's a couple of them, is a little, I don't know how you would call them, but things to block doors.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Nope.
Which, as a player, that's interesting, because that means that there's probably an action that you can use to block a door.
The door.
Yeah.
Which would be why you would have to breach a wall.
That's an excellent point.
Oh, you locked that door? Great. Now we blew up this wall. Huh.
which
You're
is
right,
making those
I didn't
games
notice
very
that.
dynamic.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun and exciting.
I'm very curious to see how the rules pan out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm usually not that much into rules. Like, I learn them to play, but
Sure.
I'm
You're not
a model
excited
kind of guy.
by rules.
Yeah, I'm not excited by rules, but I am excited by those rules because they seem very dynamic.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's the sum total of the LVO preview.
It feels like it wasn't a lot, but it was.
It was. It was when I sat down to put together all the slides, and I was like, "This is actually a lot of stuff, isn't it?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the next big preview that we'll have will be Adepticon at the end of March, which that'll be a fun preview review. Yeah.
I suspect it will be done late at night.
Oh, yeah.
It will be done in a hotel room, and it will be done on a portable rig to record with.
Yep. So expect A+ quality.
Yes, this is going to be. It's going to be our highest quality content ever.
Yeah.
The cinematography, everything is going to be perfect. Don't worry about it.
Don't even sweat
think about it.
It's great.
Yeah.
So, we've got 40K stuff, we've got Sigmar stuff, we've got boxed game stuff. It's a lot, and it's all coming our way, which is very exciting. I don't feel like I feel like we'll get over the next couple of weeks. We'll get some more in-depth information about some of these things. I'm sure some of them will like appear from the ether for pre-order out of nowhere, and that'll be fun.
Games Workshop's have been very much like, here's our preview, and half of this you will not see again for another 6 months, and next week the rest are
the other half is all coming next week. Fantastic.
So, the previews are not a very precise roadmap of what's coming soon.
They are designed to make people like us get very excited about the hobby.
Oh, it works.
It works.
I'm excited about things I normally don't care about.
Yep. So next week we'll have another standard episode of Warhammer Workshop. All of our social media information is available in the show description. And until next time, happy hobbying. If you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping us a like and subscribing. Thanks for watching. Materials shown in this video are provided fully or in part by Games Workshop for promotional purposes.